And now for a closer look at the latest situation in the Middle East, we're joined today by Professor Hassan Geon, visiting professor at the Institute of Middle East Studies at Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Professor Geon, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
So Iran now says the Strait of Hormuz won't open until the U.S. corrects its behavior. And some analysts say Iran aims to damage Trump politically by dragging out these war. Is prolonging the war actually more beneficial to Iran?
Well, actually, up to the point, yes, but not prolonging the war itself. It's prolonging the negotiation process itself that benefits Iran more. So Iran's strongest remaining leverage here now is the Strait of Hormuz, as we all know, by keeping the Strait of Hormuz restricted, Iran keeps economic pressure on the whole world and especially on the United States through energy prices, and creates also political pressure on President Trump himself ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. So at the same time, Washington is facing pressure over the duration of this war. It's like prolonging for a long time. And the conception of high-end weaponry. So this gives Iran an incentive not to finish this or settle settle during these negotiations for less or too quickly. So, but I would not say that Iran's main objective is simply to hurt Trump. I think that the most important objective here is to convert American political urgency to end this war into strategic concessions. They want sanction reliefs, blockade relief, and future Strait of Hormuz status for Iran. So Iran now is explicitly linking the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to the U.S. Change of behavior. So the danger here for Iran is that prolonging this war might damage Iranian economy badly, and infrastructure as it's doing right now. So Iran's optimal strategy is like control delay, so like just enough to strengthen its position on the negotiation table, but not indefinite war that would hurt its economy permanently.
I see. And Iran and Oman say they're working on a deal now to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. So what do you make of the details that have emerged so far about this potential deal?
The important point here is that this is not yet an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. It's just a technical agreement on how to operate the ships or the lanes through the Strait of Hormuz. It's primarily an agreement about how ships will go and come in from the Gulf. So Iran and Oman have reached an understanding on the code on how to coordinate of new shipping lanes. Under the proposal discussed so far, Iran would have a considerable authority over vessels entering the Strait of Hormuz, while Oman would have the upper hand on the rule of outbound from the Strait of Hormuz. So that matters because Iran now is trying to build a new system for the post-war, different from the pre-war. So from the pre-war, it was like unrestricted navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, but now it will be authorized and restricted by Iran. Also, Oman is essentially providing technical framework, while the real political bargain on how to open the Strait of Hormuz is still between Iran and the United States.
All right, and meanwhile, Saudi Arabia says the mutual defense deal is signed with Pakistan and Türkiye is not aimed at against any third country, but some analysts say this reflects growing concerns towards an unpredictable U.S. government, while other analysts say the pact fits within Washington's goal of greater burden sharing among allies. What are your thoughts on this?
This is a very important one because I see it primarily as a strategic hedging. The Gulf states, especially Saudi Arabia, depend heavily on hedging when it comes to international politics. So it's just a kind of hedging rather than it's an anti-American alliance. After all these three countries are great allies of the United States. So the agreement is significant because an attack against one member of this agreement is considered an attack against all three members. It's similar to NATO system. So it also established institutional mechanisms, including ministerial committee and permanent secretariat in Saudi Arabia. So they are doing like very well. However, it does not automatically require a specific military response. The members would still consult on how to respond, how to assist each other, like they not basically sending troops or maybe just sending assistance. So the timing is good. The timing of this agreement is really important here. The Iran conflict has demonstrated how vulnerable the Gulf states can become when regional security depends heavily on the United States decisions. So Saudi Arabia, for example, have an incentive to diversify its security partnership. Turkey also has the capability, industrial capability, defense capabilities. Pakistan have the sustainable conventional military capacity, and Saudi Arabia, as we all know, will bring the financial and strategic resources. So this partially supports the United States' preference for greater burden sharing system that they have been calling for. But it's also reflecting increasing regional strategic autonomy or autonomy from the United States decisions. So it's not a rejection of the United States. It's we can call it insurance against excessive dependence on the United States.
I see. All right, Professor Khan, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.